Okay, 8th graders, we're going to finish off Module 7 today with 7-4, page 417, the converse of the Pythagorean theorem. So this is pretty simple. The whole point is if a squared plus b squared equals c squared, then the triangle is a right triangle. So that's the converse. So the statement is if a triangle is a right triangle, then a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So the converse is, yeah, here's all the numbers, square them, do they equal c squared? Yep, then it's a right triangle. So how do we know if this is a right triangle? Well, what you would do is you'd find the legs. So that's 3, and you square it, and plus 4 squared, will that equal that hypotenuse squared, 5 squared? 3 squared, 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 4 is 16. And 5 squared, 5 times 5 is 25. Do these ones add up to equal 25? Yep, they do. So that means it is a right triangle. Okay, so let's do some here. Over here, a carpenter is framing a wall and needs to ensure that the wood boards form a right angle. So I did this just real fast. The legs are 8 and 6, 8 squared and 6 squared. And then the hypotenuse is 10, 10 squared. So these equal that. They add up to 100. 100 does equal 100, that 10 squared. So this is a right triangle. Down here, let's try it down here. And remember, you can use a calculator. So I got my handy-dandy calculator. Where are the legs? Here and there, okay? It looks like it's right, but we're gonna check. So 12 squared plus 24 squared equals 27 squared. So I turn on my calculator. I know what 12 squared is because I have memorized it in adulthood. It's 144. 24 squared is 576. Okay. 27 squared. So they give you all the lengths. Now you're just squaring them. 729, it said. Does this plus this equal that? Well, let's see. 576. I'm just doing this for time's sake. You could feel free to do it mental math or whatever. It equals 720. I double check that I typed it in correctly. It equals 720, but this should be 729. Is it a right triangle? No. Even though it looks really close to a right triangle, it's not. It's close to it, but it's not. Okay? There's some more over here. We'll just do this to make it quick, all right? So 13. It's blurry. 13 squared and 20 squared. See how those are the legs? Equals 25 squared. So 13 squared is 169. 20 squared is 400. I don't know why I just typed that into the calculator. That was like really stupidly easy. 25 squared is 625. Okay, 400 plus 169, that's 569. I can mental math that. They are not equal. So nope, it is not a right triangle. Okay, does that make sense? Hopefully. And over here, see, this is the foundation of the house and stuff. In order to make a foundation a rectangle, the diagonal is also marked. So this is like a 3-dimensional. It may in fact be right. So you would measure, square, square, add them up, see if it equals that squared. I'm just gonna skip, oh, there's the practice, I turned right to it. Okay, so there's some word problems here. I'll do this one. 3 cities form a triangle. Tom measures the distance between the cities on a map. Maybe he's bored because he's in quarantine and he has nothing better to do. Or maybe he works for the city and has to do this for his job. Otherwise, I don't really know why Tom would measure the distance between the cities, but I digress. The distance between the cities are 45 miles, 56 miles, and 72. Well, which one would be where? We know the longest one is the hypotenuse. So that one will be 72, okay? And the other ones would be like 45 and 56. Okay, about like that. Okay, and there's the cities. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. Okay, so it would have to be 45 squared plus 56 squared equals 72 squared. All right. 45 squared is, ooh, that's a big number. 2,225 plus 56 squared, 3,136. Does that equal 72 squared? 72 squared is 5,184. So now we go 2,025 plus 3,136, and you can just mental math this if you wanted. It equals 5,161. This is not a right triangle. Poor Tom. Womp womp. Not a right triangle. Okay? I hope that makes sense. It's pretty easy here. The next sections we're going to skip. I'll just kind of flip to them. It's finding stuff using kind of like what Tom did, but on a coordinate plane. We could certainly use some practice with coordinates. So I'm just going to show you the practice here, but we're not going to find the distance. -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, -3. That's where this one would be. 2 and 1, 2 and 1. Okay, so that's just saying find the distance C between a pair of points on the coordinate plane. So what would this be? Okay, and this is, we're not going to do any practice problems on this. This would be the hypotenuse here. How do you connect them? You just kind of go down. Okay, it looks like it stops on that line. Yep, this is where they meet. So the legs are here and here, and this is the hypotenuse. This would be your A squared and B squared and C squared. So they want to know, some of them will want to know if it's a right triangle, what the distance is, because you can't exactly count this far away. I had to do it in a 6th grade math class to make an art thing. It was a pain. So this actually would have been useful knowledge because then I could have figured out how to actually do it. My project turned out pretty bad. But using the Pythagorean theorem would help. So you would count this up and go, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it'd be 4 squared. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 squared. And we don't know what C is, C squared. So you would then square them, add them up, and get that, and then square root it back down to get what the length of this actually is. This is good for any sort of engineering, architecture, art and design, even probably fashion design. I bet you would need to make sure you have angles correctly on design. So, but we're not going to focus on 7-5, and I'm not going to give you a test. We're just going to move on and get in some last minute things. Good luck.